Hello, everyone.
That drawing is what we're going off of today.
We pause Trenton Alley. One of my shows I watch Monday and Friday. I was watching the news, and I'm still watching it. I'm watching a Senate committee financial report, and they're talking about the money that they're going to be spending and sending to approving for Congress, send back to the bill and the appropriations back to Congress. You can actually watch those committees, how they decide which money goes where and who to fund. And I don't know why the committee has agreed to, or is wanting to agree to, I think they did it already because it's not live. I think it's from last week. Why they're agreeing to send, I believe it's 3.5 trillion, and then on a continuing resolution, a CR is what they call it, meaning they're just funding it temporarily. But this is the committee where I'm watching the videos to be funded for the next 2 years. So, right? Because they always fund the president in advance. The presidency and the Congress funds our government in advance. They don't actually wait till the person gets in. There's multiple streams of money coming in, which I plan on paying the one-time reparation to people born before 1991 based on lineage, your lineage, for Black and white people passing as Black people passing as white, if they want to put a claim in. This presidency will be the one presidency that you'll be able to do that. No other presidency is going to pay reparations, but it is due. Since Black people are only 14% of the population, and then when you whittle that down, it's just of that 14% who qualifies. And I'm also going to be paying in my administration as president of the United States. I'll also be paying everyone $1,776 for 4 weeks out of the month. Some have 6 of the months have 5 weeks. That 5th week, there'll be no payment. And it is exempt from everything: child support, taxes, liens, garnishments, everything. It is exempt. That is tax money that I'll be taking, giving it to Americans and immigrants who qualify. No migrants, so that American population come out of poverty. Is everybody going to participate? No, because you have to have a job or already be on disability, or be proven to be unable to have gainful employment, not just to work somewhere. For my money, and it's called Money for the People. I've talked about it for about a year and a half in my videos. You do need to be working. You do need to be an American citizen. And this will help with homelessness. This will help with not having funds to fund your businesses that people want to fund. And it will help with bringing Americans out of poverty to the point where they can have something to pass down. It rounds out to be $85,000 a year. And I'm sorry, I'm looking this up. It turns out to be about $85,000 a year. And times 3 years. The 4th year of my administration, I won't be doing it because I have to take that same money that would be allocated to people and give it and pay down our debt. But the reason I'm making this video, and its caption says what it says, if I'm right, vote for Golda for president in the general election 2024. First, people, please understand, right now, primary elections are being held. Primary elections. And that's so that the Democrats can pick Democrat, Biden, the Republicans can pick their Republican candidates, Trump. But we don't have to agree as American citizens to vote for these people. In my administration, I'd be hiring professionals who are not lobbyists. That scares people. If I'm right, administration, I will be hiring people from the public, people that I've seen on YouTube, to journalists, to head special projects of mine. And see, this is how you bypass the foolishness of Congress, by hiring the right people that'll just look at the law, know it applies, and go ahead and put it through. You don't have to get into a back and forth. Now, I said I was going to pay everyone $1,776. I did not tell you how. And when I made the video initially, I said, I'll get into that later, because I don't want people to change the law, so that should you people go ahead and elect me as president, they'll change the law so that it can't be done. But it's being done right now by Biden. And if you haven't changed it for him, if you put me in, capitalists do not want me to be president of the United States. Capitalists will tell the elite people. Sometimes elite people are college people too, because people get a college degree and then their nose, instead of being here on their face, is way up here. Yeah. Because they have an education. Well, everyone in Congress right now has an education. Ivy League schools, fraternities, excuse me, connections, corporations, attorneys, right? Everyone in Congress right now has that. How has that helped you in the last 50 years? We got people getting their homes stolen from them by squatters. We have people being priced out of their jobs by migrants. We have people being priced out of their jobs by DACA. You know how many DACA people came here and that were left here, those kids? And then their kids had kids, because this is 20-something years ago, 20 or 30 years ago. It was 30 years ago, but 20 years ago, Obama did something about it. Or maybe 15, 20 years ago, I'm sorry. And it's not, okay. But Obama wasn't in office 20 years ago, so let me correct that. But I mean, those that were here already when he put the law through, they became adults, is what I'm saying. They were brought here as children, and left here. Then there's another set of DACAs that came here, parent came here illegal, and those people were born here. That was 20 years ago, 20, 22, and sometimes 25 years ago. In 2008 is when Obama did something about it and made them be able to stay here. However, they don't have full rights, because it would have been cruel to take them and send them back, right? Just like it's cruel to take migrants and say, get out of my country, leave. I would not do that. They have to leave the country, and they will be made to leave the country. They will be fingerprinted, photographed, documented. You got Mexico saying they can't come back. You got China saying they can't come back. Haitians, if they go back to Haiti, they can't go back. Or if they leave and can get here, they cannot go back. But we are still doing 100 million plus dollars worth of business with those countries. And so for me, if I'm president, for every citizen that comes here, because we're sending the money to that country to help their citizens. This is in case anybody doesn't realize this. So I'd be well within my right as president to dock the money that we're sending to all of those countries, Russia, Germany, Switzerland, wherever they're coming from. I'd be right, and I wouldn't need to go through Congress to dock that money that we're sending them. We're sending the money. We're buying from their country. Exports. When we send money out, we're making purchases from their country. We're buying their supplies. And we're helping them. Also, they're selling things to us, imports. Now, here's the thing where my last video, I said I would release people from prison. Certain people, especially if you were in there and it's clear that you didn't do the crime, I'm letting you out of prison, even if you're in a state prison. Because keeping you in prison, in a state prison, when your federal rights have been violated, that gives me jurisdiction. So I can forgive the rest of your sentence. But I need those people out in the population receiving the $1,700, 76 payments, because we need to rebuild our country and we need people to do it. And the one thing I hear, if I'm wrong, but if I'm right, hit it for me, for president. Because I'm the only one that's going to do it. Me and my administration, my staff, we're the only ones that's going to do it. With the existing laws on the book. We don't need Congress to make a bill or Congress to make a law. People that are being let out of prison, not only do they need money to help them, we need people in our farming industry. And if the farming industry can only pay a minimum wage, that's your money to supplement your minimum wage. You spend that money in your community. You spend it in your local stores. That helps them. These are taxes being given back to the tax-paying citizens of America. It gets you out of poverty. It helps your community. You put money in the bank, in an American bank. It helps your banking system. We're going to use our taxes for Americans. Now, there's some people that are going around and they're getting the $2,000 a month for 3 years in a pilot program. And those are the people that Democrats, that they know are going to vote Democrat. See, Democrats are buying your vote. It's cheaper to buy your vote. It's cheaper to make sure that you keep voting Democrat, to keep them in, to give you all $2,000 on a pilot program through Light Heap or NorCap West. Yeah, because they're trying to buy your vote. I hope you don't fall for it. They're only giving you $2,000 a month. I will be giving you $1,776 for 4 weeks out of the month. That's $6,000+ for 3 years. One of the conditions is that you will not get $700 of one of the checks, whether it's week 1, 2, 3, or 4, you pick. But that money for the 3 years, every month for 3 years, is going to be put into a Roth IRA account. IRA is an individual retirement account. It is to supplement your SSDI or your SSI. It is not because it's going to be released to you after the 3 years. Or you can keep it in the account that it's in. And even if you never add any more money to it, it's there. And when you get 62 or 65 or 67, you got that money sitting, $700 every month for 3 years. That money you can leave in the account that is set up, or you can take it out and put it in your own individual account. My administration is going to withhold $700 and put it in a bank that you select of the banks that are available for you to select. And at the end of my administration, because I'm only running one term, at the end of my administration, that money will be released to you into a private account of your own, not an account held by the government. But if I'm right, the committees and the subcommittees that are coming up with the money to give to the different agencies within the United States government, it's trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. 100 million here, 100 million there, 100 million, 100 million, 100 million, 100 million, 50 million, 50 million, 50 million, 50 million. Well, 50 and 50 is 100. So every time you spend $250 million, that's another $100 million. A lot of people don't look at the budget. A lot of people don't take me serious. But a lot of people don't look at the budget to know we bring in so much money into this country every day through our taxes. That is how Donald Trump is able to afford to say, we're going to cut the taxes for corporations. Your money, your tax dollars should be going to you. And to keep that cycle going where Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat, to keep that cycle going, you have capitalists control the Democratic candidate, and you have capitalists control the Republican candidate. But it's not their fault, it's your fault. If you keep voting for them, it's your fault. So I don't plan on becoming president and guessing how to do things off the top of my head. Of course, I have to have people who have the experience, the education, and the training to carry out my plan. But what I do know is that what the law says and what the law is and what we're able to do and what we're not able to do. And I promise you, there is so much money coming into this country daily. When they spend it, and when it's being allocated, the majority of Americans are being cut out. And so what do the capitalists tell the people that they purchase to do? The capitalists say, you two got to be against each other so we can get the majority of Americans to vote for one side or the other, and we still win. No matter who gets in, the capitalists still win. Because you have your talking points on the left, you have your talking points on the right, and it doesn't matter. It's just to keep Americans divided. If they ever figure us out, if they ever come together, and if they ever vote for somebody that is not in our control, somebody we're not highlighting on the news, somebody that we're not backing, somebody that's not part of a PAC. If an average, everyday, regular American is elected into office, they'll be able to do the same thing we're doing, but they're going to do it for the American people. They're not going to hurt us, but that doesn't matter. We're greedy sons of bitches, and we want things to stay as they are. There's no reason for Flint, Michigan, and the other town to not have their whole system redone. Because you see, when that tank, right, that ship ran into that that bridge down there in Georgia last week on purpose. I believe on purpose, because you could have turned around and not hit the bridge. Everybody coming up with all these theories except for the obvious one. If you're that close where you radioed in and your brakes aren't working and your lights are off, manually you could turn the ship and put it back the way that it was coming. Because by the time you hit something, the lights would have came on. And then your lights did come on. Never mind. Because see, that was supposed to happen. So the capitalist candidate could look like savior of the day. Oh, what are we going to do without him? Oh, if we didn't have him, what will we do? See, if they do any one little thing to Americans to get rid of your comforts, you go running back to the Democrat or the Republican. You do the wrong thing. And that's why your circumstances will not change. Because if I'm right, the ship could have turned around. The ship could have turned to the side and headed toward the rocks, and it would have become grounded on the ground. It wouldn't have even hit land because that's how heavy it is. It would have been marooned in the ground. All they had to do is manually turn that ship instead of letting it run into that goddamn bridge. Yes? Okay. There are DACA. You guys are voting in people in your states that are going to the Senate. And in the Senate, they're going to allow DACA and the DACA kids. I don't want to call them both DACA because one is the ones that were born here and the other ones they came here like 2 and 3 years old and they were left here. They were abandoned. Excuse me. I have my ceiling painted. And I have allergies, as some of you already know. So it's getting but back to what I was saying. Flint, Michigan, and the other town that's also affected by the pipes rotting away, that's affecting their water. Not only would this $1,700 a week help you buy water, as president, I'm having a team come down there, assess how much it cost, and the federal government's going to front that money. Yes, it has to be paid back, but not all of it, and not all in cash. I need to let people out of prison because we need to start building things in our country and stop relying on other countries to build it, to make it. And there is a shortage it'll affect our food if we don't let people out of prison who have served either all of their majority of their sentence or all of their mandatory sentence, because that's who I'm looking for. If you serve your half of your sentence, your mandatory part of your sentence, I'm letting you out of prison, state prisons, state and federal. No. You can't do that. President can't let anybody out of state prison. Yes, the president can. Especially in a state of emergency. And we are in a state of emergency. Biden hasn't called one. Trump's not calling for one. But we, Americans, are in a state of emergency. Now, I know a lot of people are not going to watch this video because it's 24 minutes long. And you guys only watch about 2 minutes. But there's chapters, they automatically do chapters now on YouTube when you make a video. And I just made a video about Representative Iliad. What's his name? So I can never say his name right. I think it's Iliad. Paliat. Oh, come on. What the name? Oh, here it is. S Representative. He's in the House of Representatives. Espaliat. Espailat. Espailat. Okay, Espailat. My little notes. As I finish with them, I throw them away. But I got plenty to do. Or is this the thing? Yeah, this is the. I'm sorry. This is the clear one. What I got to work on is these. See, you have to be able to multitask. Because if I had to sit down and just do one thing, it would never get done. It would never get done. If I had to work on just one thing. And that's how my administration will be. The only difference is I'll have teams working on different things. And so it stays organized, and a team leader, advisor for each team, and a specialist in that role to help me carry out what needs to be carried out for the American people. And I guarantee you some of the anger, some of the high temperature rising, and some of the frustration and the short patience, that will go away. Because people are so angst up and they're worried, oh, am I going to be sued? Am I going to be able to afford gas? Can I afford food? And what about my rent? The rent's going up. My bid for presidency is to invest in the American people. Now, are there going to be some knuckleheads that want to take that money and do something illegal with? Yes, their checks are going to be stopped. No second chance. Not with me. Getting the money for 3 years. The money is already allocated. The president can use the money. I don't need to go through Congress, just like Biden didn't. A lot of y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but they know what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, something tells me that they watched my video and figured it out, that they could go and take money from something and use it in a state of emergency. But the money that I'm sending you guys of the taxes is taxes reinvesting our taxes back into the American public and immigrants who qualify. And I expect to get those taxes back, or a portion of those taxes, a great portion of those taxes will come back into the system, in addition to our regular taxes. Because the majority of you have to be working to get that money. If you don't have a job, go get a job. And if it turns out that they've hired migrants, those companies are gonna have to let the migrants go, because most of the migrants are gonna go anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Most of those migrants are going to be round up. And now, listen, I'm not talking about somebody who came here illegally, or you came here legally for a visit, and then you just stayed and became a legal citizen. Obviously, I'm not talking about you. If you did that, that makes you an immigrant. And being an immigrant is legal. But I am talking about people who just walked over, say in the last 10 years, maybe 15. I might go back 20 years. It depends on what my specialists tell me on the law that I'm thinking about, on how I can apply it. But let me just use 20 years. If you're a migrant and you came here and you do not belong here, and it's 20 years later, and you're using fake and a fake and a fake and a fake, no, you cannot stay, because first of all, you're committing fraud. But common sense says, yeah, you know what? I'm coming to this country the right way, but let me go ahead and apply my paper. Let me apply to be here legally, so this doesn't come back and bite me in the ass. You can have a successful business for the past 20 years, have paid into our tax system, which is key, have legally paid into the tax system. But if you did that under somebody else's name, social security number, if you pay taxes under somebody else's social security number and their name, you paid it for them and they are an American. You have not paid anything. Yeah, you did the work. But because you have a false ID, all that whole record goes under the American from whom you stole it. That's why it doesn't make sense to come to a country and stay here for 20 years and never go out and become a legal citizen. If you have not done that, I don't know what to tell you. But you're not getting those credits so that you can get those payments, because that goes to somebody else. And now you find yourself in a position where, if you have a company and you're paying taxes, I'll look at that, because I don't want my tax base lowered. But then you need to apply to stay here legally. But if you've been here running the streets and running around and hemming and hawing, you ain't got no business, you ain't got no house, you don't have no nothing, you just illegally using somebody else's name and you never applied to stay in the country, you're not getting their check in their name. I don't know how many the name Golda has been sold. Golda Addis, which is Golda Harris. I don't know how many times my ID, which was stolen a long time ago when I stupidly left my bag and my thing in my car, my handicap decal, I left that in my car when my kids were younger, and ran in to get some down there on Front Street. I remember it to this day. I ran in there to get the Chinese food for my kids, and I was washing clothes at the Suds and Duds right next to the Chinese place. And then later on they made a fruit market next to that. But yeah, right on Front Street. I went in there, I'm talking, running my mouth as I do, and somebody reached right in my car, got my stuff. Didn't even take the pocketbook. Left the pocketbook there. But they took the handicap decal and they took my ID, my driver's license. So I had to get a duplicate. And they've been getting tickets in my name in Newark, California, and someplace else I don't remember. It just so happens I happen to be working at the time they got the tickets. So you knew it wasn't me. And then one of the North Plainfield police officer had stopped me years back. And he said, you have a warrant for your arrest? No. Yeah, you got a ticket in Newark. I don't remember who the officer was, but he didn't arrest me. He just told me to make sure I call to go in. And sure enough, I went into the court, and the judge said, you're not Golda. Yes, I am. The officer pulled me over and told me, yeah, because my light had went out in my car. I wasn't speeding or anything, but just that my light was out. And so I'm glad he pulled me over to let me know my light was out. Probably was trying to mac, because I was fine back in my day. I mean, I'm fine now, but back then, now I'm almost 60. But you, I said that, I told you that story to say that this happens a lot. It happens more often than not. And so somewhere in California, somebody's still using Golda Harris with my old address. And I'm sure they got another address by now and another ID by now, but it's still my name. It's still my social security number. It's still my driver's license number. There's a lot of people out there. There are a lot of victims out there. And then, in New Jersey, somebody at the motor vehicle was selling people's information. They were selling their driver's license and giving them a fake driver's license so they could be in this country. This was 30 years ago. That's how long migrants have been doing this. So that's why I said it. I'm only going to go back 20 years. If you've been here 20 years and you use somebody's social security card and all that stuff, and you still have not bothered to pick a name for yourself and go to where you needed to go and register so that you are now a citizen from 20 years ago, you still, if somebody's still using my name and my license number from 20 years ago, and I'm the president, I'm not sending my stuff, my check not going to you. Yep, president gets a check and everybody in Congress. This is to bring people out of poverty. And some of y'all are saying, oh, they're rich. Okay. At the bottom of the form, where it tells you right next to what bank you want to put your IRA Roth $700 payment in, the paragraph right underneath that says, if you do not want to participate, sign and date, and you will not get a check. That's for anybody who feels too proud, or if you are a billionaire or a millionaire and you don't want the money, opt out. Because the more people opt out that don't need it, the better it is for me, because I want to help Americans that actually need the money. And so migrants, no, I don't want to hear, oh, we pay taxes too. You pay taxes on taxes that you shouldn't be paying. And most of the people that you work for, because they're hiring migrants, get a credit for everything that the taxes that you claim you're paying. And most of y'all don't pay taxes. Most of y'all get paid in cash. But the company that you work for, because they hired you, those taxes cancel each other out. But when an American works for a company, they get a match on the taxes. The company gets a match. So whatever taxes we're paying and whatever taxes are coming out of our check, and the company has to match it through whatever program, retirement, stocks, or whatever, it's a write-off, especially for the Fortune 500 and up companies. I don't know about for the Fortune 100 companies, but the Fortune 500 companies, all of that's a write-off, or they get a tax credit, like YouTube. Right, YouTube ain't barely paying no taxes because they're hiring Americans, and that salary, their taxes, their your fringe benefits, all of that is matched by the company, who then it gets that as a write-off when they file their taxes, and they get that back from the government as a credit. If the government gives you a credit on the taxes that you owe, you don't owe the taxes. You understand that? And then they get write-offs, which is separate from credits. The write-offs mean my operating expenses, if they fall under a certain category, I get to write those off. So that means however much it costs me, if it costs me $500,000 of operating expenses to do, I get $500,000 back from the government because I've hired Americans. Research and development is the same way. Research and development, taxes are paying for that when a company has to do research and development. But none of the money is coming to the American citizens. We bring in hundreds of millions of dollars worth of taxes daily, 7 days a week. Don't let them tell you that it's not. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. Back in the day, it wasn't, because you work Monday through Friday, and you got paid one of the 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Now, you get paid, people are getting paid 7 days a week. So we're collecting taxes every day, all across America. Hundreds of millions of dollars every day. we're collecting in taxes. And we can't take a portion of that, give it back to our citizens, bring them out of poverty, help them start businesses or buy property in America. Everybody can't fit in the shoe. If you saw my other video, you know what I'm talking about. The size 12, trying to shove that into a size 9 and all the meat hanging off the back of your heel, your sling back. All right, I'm going to go. This video is 40 minutes. And, but if I'm right about what I'm saying, don't look at, oh, look how she's dressed. I won't be wearing this as president, right? Right? Listen to how she speaks. I won't be speaking like this as president. My profanity, I'm always going to do till the day I die. But as president, I won't do it in public. And because I'm not married, I'll have no reason to do it. I was going to make a joke. But because I'm not married, I don't have the headaches of having a husband. I don't have the responsibilities and the worriations of having a husband to be what I would consider a distraction while I'm doing my presidency. I don't want to hear anybody else's opinion except for the people that are being paid on my staff to give me their opinion. I don't want my husband's opinion. That's why I don't have a husband now. So I'm going to end this video at 45 minutes, and hopefully people will watch. And as much as you want to watch or not watch, I do make YouTube videos so that I can introduce myself more to people. The general election will be starting very soon. I bid for the general election will be starting very soon. I did get pushed back a couple of months. But yeah, there's some good people on YouTube that I would like to have in my administration. Some good reporters that I've seen doing stories on different, because I watch everybody on YouTube. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing for me. I watch everybody on YouTube. So I've seen reporters, I've seen people that are attorneys do good work. I've seen people that are community activists doing good work. People in the church are doing good work. This is not something where I'm going to be doing everything by myself. This is not something where I have to sit down and I have to personally type. But look at my hands. For those of you who know what I'm talking about. Huh? Beautiful. Look at that. I could see knuckles. Yes, it's still swollen. Yes, it still hurts. But I'm trying not to get surgery on my hands. So we're doing the medication first. And all of my medication is working. I'm in good health. I'm a little overweight, but that's okay. And so I am a disabled person running for the presidency of the United States. Some people who know me don't know this part of me. They just know me as Golda, or, somebody who I wouldn't think of her as president. But that's because they don't know me. They don't know what I've done. They don't know what I've done in the community. But a lot of people do know me. A lot of people do know what I've done in the community. And so they know I am more than capable of running for president, being the president. And I would like to have people from America in my administration. Those that need to be degreed, yes, you have to be degreed. But those that don't have to have a degree to be an advisor to me on certain things, I welcome you. I will need to fill a lot of cabinet positions as president of the United States. And those are the people that I have to make sure have the degrees and the experience and are in line with my plan, not the capitalist plan, But I'm not out to hurt capitalists. Let me say this in my last 15 minutes. I'm not out to hurt capitalists. I'm not out to lessen the amount of money that capitalists make and can make. So if we work together, but we will include the average, regular, everyday American person. Have a nice day.